Welcome in to Double A Baseball. Adam Oppenheim with Alex Hynes here on Tuesday, August 12th. We got some teams who have really turned up since the All-Star break, so we're going to be talking about at least three teams, but multiple MLB teams who are making a push to the postseason. Alex, we have to start off with the Brewers. Best record in the league by 5 games. They have a 10-game winning streak. They can't lose. Every time they're down late in the game, they come out with a clutch hit. And even if the pitching isn't well, they've been scoring a lot of runs.
I mean, how many times have we've seen the result of a Brewers game and thought I was under the assumption they were going to lose that game. I mean, they find ways to win in the not necessarily bizarre ways, but just in so many ways that you don't understand how they can do it consistently like this. But somehow, I mean, call it luck, call it whatever. I mean, they have been playing on something like a 118 win pace since I can't remember if that was since the All-Star break or since the beginning of June. Whatever it is, it's been a hot streak that on the one end feels like it's so not luck driven because they've deserved to win as well as they have, but to an extreme extent. And then you realize that it's been for a very sustained amount of time as well. So it kind of just feels paradoxical that they could be playing at such an absurd rate, but also be playing to that absurd rate for now basically 2 months at least. So it's just ridiculous, and I don't know how they've done it, but they've done it in some crazy ways with a lot of young talent. I think is what really stood out to me.
It's been incredible. Everyone knows about the pitching staff, but talking about a guy like Caleb Durbin, who, I mean, I hadn't heard of, a lot of people have not heard of, and has a chance to win NL Rookie of the Year. Just incredible. And then play May in the outfield. I think it was Blake Perkins the other day threw out a Met at home
Right?
to
Yeah.
win the game. Threw out Marte at home to win the game. Andrew Vaughn was so bad with the White Sox. Somehow, this is a crazy stat I found on Twitter, is Andrew Vaughn still has a negative WAR, even though he's been on fire with the Brewers, because that's how bad he was on the White Sox. Not a great defender, but he is hit the ball hard. William Contreras has had some huge games. A guy who's known more for his power. Hadn't had a ton of home runs until the last few weeks, and he's been crushing them.
And it's crazy to think how many guys they could have that are in rookie of the year conversation. I mean, now again, they've got several guys that are really good rookies that probably won't, get top three in rookie of the year or top five. But you got conceivably a list that could go down to five or more guys that could at least receive a single vote. And that is unheard of to have that many young contributors in that team. We were all talking about Jacob Misiorowski, and now again, he's had time currently on the injured list. But even then, he is still basically the third best rookie on this Brewers team. You mentioned Caleb Durbin. Isaac Collins has been even better. I mean, you're talking about a guy with a 3B WAR. In when did he officially make his debut this season? He's been around since the beginning, but again, he's still a rookie by standing, and he's put up 3 WAR, a 141 OPS. I think that's pretty good. And he's a guy that, I mean, because they're the Brewers, they really don't get that that media attention in on an individual basis. We hear a lot about it on the national stage. Oh, hey, look at what the Brewers are doing. This is kind of insane. But you don't hear about a lot of the individuals because they just don't have that name power. At least powering them as a unit. It's not like Jackson Churio is having an absurd stretch or Freddie Peralta or Christian Yelich. It's a combined effort, and a lot of guys that a lot of people wouldn't have heard of, maybe they should now, that have been really driving things forward. Again, it's a 144 WRC plus for Collins, a 3.2 F4. So yeah, I mean it's crazy what the young guys have done, and these aren't top prospects in
Nope.
a lot of cases.
Yeah, and Jackson Churio's been injured the past couple weeks too, so he
Right.
hasn't even been in their lineup, and they're still scoring a crazy amount of runs. Someone like Quinn Priester, I think we mentioned him a couple weeks ago. He finally had a bad start, and the Brewers somehow won. They're like 10-0 in his last 10 starts or something. Like that's solid for some
Naturally.
run support. Uh, Freddie Peralta's been pretty solid as well. Brandon Woodruff back in the rotation. He was out a very long time. Um, but good to see him back. And the bullpen is just locked down right now. They have a bunch of good relievers. I'm not sure where their bullpen ERA ranks because I know the Padres have to be number one at this point, but the Brewers have to be top five in bullpen ERA.
Yeah, how about Trevor McGill?
Yeah,
Trevor McGill has been
really good.
lockdown. I mean, he's been good for the last couple of years since really inheriting that spot from Devin Williams between Williams' injury uh, breaks and then obviously now leaving. But I mean, again, he is how many saves has he gotten this year? 28. He's already bested last year's 21. He has been, a great back to that bullpen. It's like, oh man, what are they going to do? They lost Josh Hader a few years ago. Oh, they got Devin Williams. Oh man, they just lost Devin Williams. What are they going to do? Enter Trevor McGill, says, I've got this spot for some time.
It really is interesting how players go to the Brewers, and usually they're a lot better, at least on the pitching side. And this is a team you look at, and how can you say they're not the favorites out of the NL? Maybe they don't have the superstar name, but they find ways to win. And you can say maybe it won't translate to the playoffs or their luck may run out, but like if you find a way to win in all these different situations, that sets you up great for the postseason. And if you have pitchers who pitch deep into ball games, you play small ball. Obviously, they don't hit a ton of homers, but in terms of advancing on earth of bunts, run around second, no outs, you need a run, hitting a ground ball the right side of the infield to advance him to third. Those small things, there is no team in baseball that even comes close to what the Milwaukee Brewers do.
Well, and again, I mean, we've seen teams succeed in the playoffs, not necessarily to win the World Series, but to win playoff games, to win a playoff series potentially by cobbling together things on the pitching side, which is what the Brewers will be able to do. Even though they don't have, the same kind of star power, even as they did a few years ago when it was Peralta, Burns, and then Woodruff before he's gotten hurt, and he's still been fine since he's come back. But at the same time, again, it's not the most alluring postseason rotation of Peralta, Woodruff coming off injury, Quinn Priester, Jose Quintana, Jacob Misiorowski. But you're talking about guys that can give you, 5 innings, and the Brewers have been in recent years, even since changing over to Mr. Pocket Pancake himself, Pat Murphy, as the manager. They've been able to still find ways to win without needing starting pitching to go deep, figure out things out of the bullpen. Abner Uribe is nasty out there. Jared
He's
Koenig
been
is
so good, yeah.
yeah, and Jared Koenig's been a former indie baller out there, was playing in New Zealand 5, 6 years ago. Um, and yeah, shout out the Auckland Tuatara. They no longer exist, but he is
Yeah.
one of like two major leaguers to play there. Fun fact. But again, like these guys can just do the job. It's not gonna look, the prettiest for, your ESPN Sports Center coverage, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't always equate to wins. If you win games, that's what matters. And they can do that very well.
Yeah, I think the dangerous part for other teams if Jacob Misiorowski can throw that hard with command. I mean, you see what starting pitchers who are young who have command. I mean, obviously, the comps still like Paul Skeens. He's not to that level or even close at this point. But when you can throw it that much velocity, it keeps hitters just so off balance. And you add him to this rotation, and you got a pretty good three for the playoffs. I mean, and this team is better than last year's team for sure.
But the other thing about Mizraowski too for me is, again, it's not a muscular injury that he's on the IL with. And so, you'd feel pretty good that, he should be able to come. He will be back, uh, I think by the end of the month, ideally. And so you're talking about a guy who, if he's not in the playoff rotation, which I think arguably he will be, I'd say
I
he's
think so.
probably the four, fight between him and Priest or who you want. But worst case scenario, he's
Bullpen.
not going to. he's not going to reach any innings limits. He can go to the bullpen and he can still shove. And you're talking about a guy who can throw 101 when he's going 5, 6 innings. He's going to be nasty if you throw him out there for 2, 3 innings out of the bullpen in a playoff run, and then next year if the Brewers do this exact same thing again, you're talking about a guy that's probably the number two, maybe number three at the worst, and he is a very alluring number three to have in your rotation.
No doubt. In this division, it's being taken over by the Brewers. The Cubs were in control most of the year. And it's not like the Cubs have played absolutely horrendous baseball. It's just you're not going to be able to catch a team when all they do is win.
Well, and I trying to pull up this note here. Yeah, since May 25, the Cubs have had the second best record in the National League. They've had the fifth best record in the majors, period. They've lost 12 games in the standings to the Brewers since that time. I mean, the Cubs have not made themselves look pretty since the All-Star break, that's for sure. But at some point, you have to tip your cap and say, well, every team goes through slumps like they're going through right now. Look at the Mets and the Dodgers at this exact moment. But I mean, you just got to tip your cap to what the Brewers are doing. Devil magic as it may feel, you know, they could be playing great baseball right now and still be down in the division. Not by as much, but still be down in the division. And I don't think there's anything they could do that was going to stop this Brewers team, though they got a big 5 game set coming up. So that's going to be the one to circle, whether the Cubs can bring back a game or two in that series or whether the Brewers essentially just cement themselves in
Yeah,
the division.
they
Because
win the division. Yeah.
if they basically win that series, I think the Cubs are pretty much, dead in the water for the division. They probably will get a wild card spot pretty easily still, but
Yeah.
if they win that series, it feels like it's the Brewers coasting their way to the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Let's talk about a couple other NL teams. We talked about the Padres last week because of the trade deadline acquisitions, but this team looks really good, and they now been closing in on the Dodgers. Maybe no, they're one game back after the Dodgers lost yesterday against the Angels. But the new Padres bullpen is really, really good. And the Dodgers has just been so up and down. Yesterday, Yamamoto did not look good. Uh, Padres are a fun team.
And again, their pitching has been the big story. And I mean, there's no reason to not expect that. I mean, the rotation,
Right.
you know, was looking amazing, even, whether injuries or no. The bullpen was the highlight in May, and it is continued to be so. And now you add Mason Miller and you add JP Sears as a depth piece in the rotation. Again, since the All-Star break, they're third best in ERA. The only two teams they're trailing are Texas and then the Brewers, who have had the best ERA since the All-Star break. So they're throwing it well, a 3.4 ERA in that time. And again, the bats, I mean, you're never going to count out a team that's led by, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, a team that offensively has been as well put together as you could ask for over the last several years. So there was no reason to suggest that last year's real crazy struggles they had and unluckiness that they had with the bats was going to translate to this year. And so the Dodgers, again, are having a really tough time of things recently, and the Padres have capitalized. And again, it looks like it's another chance for a two-horse race.
And the interesting thing is on their pitching side, Michael King was back for um, the first time sometime last week. And that's big because he was supposed to be a guy who's top three in their rotation. He was in the Trent Grisham trade. And then the bullpen. You talk about having Robert Suarez, Mason Miller, Jason Adam, Jeremiah Estrada. Morejon has been great. I mean, those
He's
are,
phenomenal.
I mean, those are like five guys who have under a 2.5 ERA who strike a ton of guys out and don't walk batters. It's
I,
over in the seventh inning. I've never seen a bullpen like this in my lifetime of watching baseball.
I mean, it's a team that has three closers, basically. I
Yeah.
mean, Suarez and Miller were both proven closers this year, and then I mean Jeremiah Estrada was able to close games early, and that's not counting Morahan or Jason Adam.
And they all
So,
throw hard too.
oh yeah, exactly. And I mean,
How was that fair? I
they
guess they
figured
gave
out
up
the
a great
command.
prospect. So hey,
Well, yeah,
I said the Athletics were winners last week, so I'll stick to. I didn't say
right.
the Padres were losers though. I'll
I
make
will
that
say,
clear.
I just on the topic of trades, it took me a moment to register it, but did you just refer to the Michael King trade as the Trent Grisham deal?
I think it
Was that
was,
what?
wasn't it?
I mean, it did involve Trent Grisham. You're missing one key piece in that trade. You're missing one Juan Soto.
Oh yeah, no. That's actually hilarious.
I was gonna say I'm not quite sure you're trading Michael King for Trent
I don't
Grisham
know
one
why.
for one, but
I must have
okay.
just seen it on Twitter and just looked. It was probably when Trent Grisham had like a go-ahead homer or something.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, hey,
And that is hilarious. Yeah, shout out that guy Juan Soto too.
he's all right. He's decent at baseball,
Dude,
though.
he's
I mean, his team has not been very great
yeah,
of
his
late. The
team's
Mets
not
have
been
been
good.
woeful.
Yeah, it's funny. Juan
But hey,
Soto.
Juan Soto had that big homer against Gavin Williams.
Yeah, he did. That was a
No,
big
no
one
hitter.
last week. I will say also the catcher position, Freddie Fermin. I think that was an upgrade over what they had and
I
Elias
mean,
Diaz behind the
they're
plate.
they have been a revolving door of essentially backup catchers moonlighting as starters. Whether it was Elias Diaz, they had Martin Maldonado, they had who was the other guy they had with Campusano last year? But again, it's like a bunch of guys that have a few like hot stretches. But I mean, Freddie Fermin, again, he's pretty much the next in that list. He's not a huge starting catcher
But he's a good
upside,
defensive
but
catcher.
you're talking about a guy who actually was really good defensively with Kansas City last year. So I mean, when you're talking about where they could, where they can make sure that they can sacrifice offense, the catcher position is perfect when you have the rest of the offense they have. So there's no
A-
reason to worry about them.
And what catcher would you rather have someone learn from to come to your team? Salvador Perez, who's been
Yeah,
there, done that.
exactly.
So I think that's a great fit. I mean, Xander Bogaerts starting to hit the ball a little more. He obviously has a giant contract on that team. So if he can hit along with Jackson Merrill, and then you mentioned the top of the order, Luis Ariz, he can hit the ball. Won't go far.
He can poke it.
He can get poking. Boy, is he an annoying player to watch. I mean,
Oh,
he's a good hitter,
I
but
hate watching any team
but
face him. It's
jeez,
like, oh man.
he
But
really doesn't
hey,
strike out. It's incredible. People are just
he
discovering his baseball savant page now. By the way, it's been like that same thing for like 7, 8 years.
exactly. It's not
It's
any
been
change.
comedy his entire career, like it just is.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any less funny though. I'll say
No,
that.
of course not. Of course not. Let's move on to the AL with the
Okay.
team that's been doing it. Let's talk about Seattle
Ooh,
because that
yeah.
AL West has been such a weird division. And hey, I mean, I don't know if he's your MVP anymore, Cal Raleigh, but man, his team is doing pretty good, especially after getting Eugenio Suarez at the deadline. They added that thump they needed. Obviously, Josh Naylor they added as well. Things
Yeah.
are starting to look like they can hit the ball.
The thing is, Suarez hasn't even been good since going back to Seattle. But Julio Rodriguez has been really good. Cal Raleigh was struggling for a bit and then had a couple really clutch home runs. Randy Arozarena has been good. It's nice because before the deadline, at the top of the order, you have J.P. Crawford, and now you put J.P. Crawford at the bottom of the lineup, and it looks a whole lot better, right? When you have Arozarena and Raleigh and Julio and Naylor Suarez, like those are quality players. And then Cole Young, who has hit the ball pretty well as well, young player for the Mariners, and then the pitching staff. It's so obvious. I mean, you talk about the guys coming into this year, Castillo, Gilbert, and Kirby, but then Brian Wu, who you were always a big fan of, turns out to be
I
he's
was.
going to be their game one starter. Assuming the Mariners make the playoffs. I mean, he has been the best pitcher on their team. I mean, how many consecutive games? I think every single game was 6 innings pitched.
I believe so. Let me
That's
pull that up. I'm
ridiculous.
pretty sure every
In
single
today's
game.
MLB, that just doesn't happen. And
Yeah,
for
his
him to
lowest is
always,
6.
yeah,
He's been between 6 and 7 1/3 his entire season. And I mean, oh, by the way, all those innings, he's only allowed 5 earned runs 3 times. And only once since mid-June, and that was like 2 weeks ago.
Was that against the A's?
That was against the A's. He gave up
I
5 earned runs in that game. Allowed 4 homers. That
I remember that game. Yeah, I was watching on MLB Network.
so it was a 5-4 game in which he gave up 4 homers. Rooker, two to Andujar, as one
Yeah,
tends to do. Yeah,
that's what I
sure.
remember. It was his first career two-homer game.
Real. And then Darrell Hernaiz, who is he a rookie? I think he's a rookie. No, he was a rookie last year. But yeah, I mean, Brian Wu has been Mr. Consistent out of Cal Poly. I mean, again, he's a guy, again, I've always been high on him. He's got some weird stuff, which makes him so interesting. But again, they just continue to bring out random, not random, but they just tend to bring out good pitchers out of that team. I mean, you still, you know, got young guys that they think could still be really good. Bryce Miller hasn't had things good this year. Neither is Emerson Hancock, two guys that are thought of pretty highly. I mean, they had Matt Brash, who
He's
has
been
been
really good
a
this year.
bullpen guy, and he's been elite. The fact that you're taking a guy who last year had he had 3 ERA out of the pen after having a 4.4 in his rookie year, missed 2024, but again, they're just continuing to bring out more and more good pitchers, and the offense is now finally catching up.
Yeah, I'll mention Gabe Spire too in the bullpen. Lefty, really tough. I mean, every great team, especially in the playoffs, you want to have a good lefty to sub in that left on left matchup. And Munoz said a pretty rock solid year as well. It's been impressive that the Mariners have hit the ball this well because everyone knows about their pitching staff. But the way the top of the lineup is performing, Julio Rodriguez, who I said deserved not to be an All Star, which I mean I still agree with at the time, but he's turned up after the All Star break big time. You can feel the Seattle crowd getting into it. I mean, maybe my prediction was right. You know, a few years ago, my hot take: Mariners making it to the World Series. I mean, maybe it
I mean,
comes to they're a game behind the
I've liked
Astros.
it. I've liked that team for several years now, and they finally can prove it right. I mean, again, I think the big thing is now having Randy in that lineup, which they didn't have a couple years ago. He's put up a 4 WAR year. Julio, again, yeah, as you mentioned, he has been really good now that he's kind of turned things on in the second half. And again, all of this, Cal Raleigh since the All-Star break, just because that's an easy benchmark to look at now that we're like 25 games since then. Cal Raleigh has hit 200 with a 258 on base, a sub 700 OPS since the All-Star break. He does have 7 homers. He's slugged a bit, but he's not been, MVP front runner Cal Raleigh in the last 2, 3 weeks. And they're still continuing to build their way towards the top of this AL West. So if he turns it on as he did earlier, things only get better for them. And even if Cal Raleigh is just a guy that's going to hit you bombs and not going to do much else if he continues to have a sort of a scuffling pace like he's had of late, you're not going to complain because now Julio's hitting, you've got Randy hitting, you've got these guys ahead of him to where again he'll have guys on base for him if he does hit those homers.
It's a fun team to watch, and the crowd in Seattle, it's pretty cool.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
but it's gonna be exciting. I mean, I think they could pass the Astros. I really do.
I
Um,
I feel
if
more
they
confident with a lot of what they have. I think a
right,
lot of their pieces are a bit more, for lack of a better word, projectable
yeah,
than you get out of say Houston down this final stretch. Even though Houston, in a lot of cases, has the playoff pedigree and guys that
right.
know how
That,
to win in October.
but that's what's keeping you from fully saying Seattle, because at this
Oh yeah,
point, the past couple months, they've shown they're the better team. But the Astros
right.
have playoff experience. The Mariners don't. The Mariners have not really been a playoff team a ton past couple decades. So yeah,
To say the least.
yeah. So let's move on to our segments. Oh no, and AA plus. I'm gonna go first with my AA plus top three plays of the week. My first one comes by a fan. a Braves fan catching an absolute rocket down the left field line and reaches out and snags it with his left hand, phone in his right hand. Talk about multitasking, and then tosses it to a kid. That was a special play by a great fan. At number two, Adolis Garcia, a juggling catch. This off the bat of Nick Castellanos. Looks like Adolis Garcia is going to come in and try to make a sliding catch. Instead, it bounces off his glove, off his shoulder, and then catches it with his bare hand. Good concentration. I know the catch probability was high, but it looked cool, so it's at number two. And lastly, at number one, Jurickson Profar. Maybe turning back the clock a little bit. Here it goes to left field. Profar climbs the wall and makes a spectacular catch. The Braves have not had a good season at all, but they do get the number one AA plus best play of the week.
Well, shout out there to Adolis Garcia. Could have been oh no, turns into A plus. I mean, that's a big turnaround right there.
Yeah, if it hit him in the face, it would have been oh no. Yeah.
Shout out Luis Robert.
Yeah.
Before his time. Before his time.
Yeah.
Truly. Speaking of oh no, let's move on to our worst and weirdest of the week. Let's start. We're going to start with the Yankees. You're going to sense a theme here, Yankees fans, and I'm sorry about that. So here it is. It's in late in the game, a fly ball into shallow left. Astros against Yankees. Bellinger comes in. It drops into no man's land, but he's got a chance to gun down Altuve, and it doesn't leave the outfield. Yeah, Cody's had an arm. Didn't showcase it that time. Maybe next time, Bellinger. Then let's move on to another broadcast related one. I feel like Yes Network has caught a lot of flack from us of late, and it's not going to change. We're going to talk about Ryan Ruocco this time, though, instead of Michael Kay. Him and David Cohn talking about Jock Peterson when they were in Texas, saying that, quote, the physique has definitely evolved for Jock, which is a very nice way of trying to put things. But even though he's hitting 126, Peterson says, yeah, you're not going to say that about me on air and then just continue to tell the tale. Hits a homer out into right field. Can't keep Jock down like that, despite his tough season. And then number one, you're going to sense a theme. Yankees number three, this time in an old timers day game at Yankee Stadium. Mariano Rivera, who was hitting, sure, I guess. It's a lot easier when you don't have to face Mariano Rivera as a hitter, I guess. But he got a hit, but he ended up tearing his Achilles, which is why you got to be careful in old timers day games. You never know what can happen. So it's unfortunate for him. But again, that's add that one into the weird injury bank. We haven't seen a weird one like that in a while. So hopefully he gets better soon. But a torn Achilles in an old timers day game. That's your number one.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Truly. I mean, the first two were just, you know, those were interesting, but the Mariano Rivera, that is really, really tough. I mean, Jack Pearson hitting a home run. Pretty surprising. He hit another
Two
one,
all year.
I think,
And at that point,
yesterday. Yeah, so maybe he's heating up.
he's
I don't
back.
know.
Yeah, I
Maybe
don't
it helps that Devin Williams is pitching.
know.
That's funny. You would have thought I made or did
Yeah.
own up my
Is this
but
our first oh no or AA plus sweep?
yeah, clean sweep. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get one next week. Who knows? Someone's got to make some very good plays or some very bad plays.
All right, we're taking predictions on what team will be the next sweep. I mean, I feel like the A's. I mean,
But I mean,
you,
hey,
you
they
got to
swept the
be
number
good
one
and
spot.
bad.
They swept the number one spot last week or the week before.
Yeah, that's a
So
mini sweep. That's a mini
that's
sweep.
that's a mini sweep. Yeah, that's taking the two top spots is impressive. But I mean, that's not consistency. That's the edges, the margins, the good and the bad. But they haven't had all of the good or all of the bad.
All right, what team do you think? One team you get to pick. I picked
Let's go
Athletics.
Mets, baby. Love the Mets.
Mets.
It's
All
always
right.
gonna be the Mets.
All right. Yeah, the Mets are struggling. So we'll see. I got the
The
A's.
Mets are the Mets are your oh no for the week if you really want a team that's played poorly.
Yeah, so now for my oh no, I'm just gonna pick all A's plays, even if they're not bad. Oh, slight bobble. Didn't pick it out of the dirt at first. That's our number one. Oh no, play of the week. That
No
was funny.
sabotage.
That's funny. Well, we talked about some of the playoff teams, including the Mariners, the Padres, and the Brewers, of course. The Brewer
How many
Crew.
Brewers wins between now and the next show?
We'll go with 10. 10 the next 7 days.
It would happen. They would find a way to do it. I believe it.
Couple of rainouts, and then you push the doubleheader forward, not back. Yeah, the
Sure,
Brewers are
we'll figure
amazing.
it out.
Well, that's going to wrap it up here on Double A Baseball. For my partner, Alex Hynes, I'm Adam Oppenheim. We'll see you next week on Double A Baseball.